Dave here. How are you? Magic. Dave here. How are you? Today is the 20th of July 2024. You'll have to forgive me for not wearing the blue t-shirt. It is under there, but as you can see in the comments, there's snow happening at his place. It's bloody cold here. It's sunny, but cold and windy and damp after the rain earlier today. Anyway, I hope everyone is well. And I need to slide down here on this chat on the other side so I can see what's happening myself. AV, all good. Thanks, Peter. All right, today we're going to have a look at a couple of different things. You'll notice that I've set the monitor up around this side. Normally I'm over there, you're looking down the workshop. I've done this on purpose so that I can put some longer pieces of wood through the table saw. During the week, I purchased a 900 millimeter wide slab of pine. Now it's finger jointed and it's 900 by 33 millimeters thick, which is what, 25 mil is 1 inch, so it's around 1 3/8 inches thick. Nice thick piece. By 2.4 meters long, 8 feet long. Now, the reason I got that is I'm going to cut it down, or already have cut it down into panels for all the sides of the bed. Now I've cut them down to 185 millimeters deep. And I was a little bit concerned. I was thinking maybe I should just buy timber that is already machined and I know that it's not going to move around, because sometimes with these pre-made boards, when they're all joined up and glued up, they look great. But is my sound coming through a bit kind of rough there? I'm going to just drop the volume a little bit. That might be a little bit better. It might have been clipping. I was watching, it was going up into the red zone a fair bit. Okay, where was I? Because sometimes once you cut a panel, it's like cutting an ordinary piece of wood and you're relieving different stresses and it might start wandering. So I've had it all in the clamps all week, and I think I'm going to, first of all, demonstrate using a thin rip guide. Now you don't need to buy anything for this. You can do it with a clamp and a piece of wood on a table saw. The reason I'm going to use a thin rip guide, I'll explain it when I get over there. First of all, I'm going to just get the piece of wood that I'm going to rip. So this is part of that panel. These are bloody handy. So I'm going to rip all of the domino section as well. Remember on that first image you saw, the audio was fine. Okay, well I'll push it back up a little bit. There you go. Ponytail's nice. Gravelly at the top. Okay, I thought so. So Derek's been standing in front of a band too often, and he's got the same problem as me with the hearing. Anyway, so where was I? I worked out how I got the thickness of the rails for around the bed. 187 millimeters, what I ripped with the TSO parallel guides and the track saw. What a great setup that is. I love it. I haven't been doing much in the workshop lately, and then when you come back and rediscover the tools that you had that were very, very important back then all of a sudden you get back into it, and I'm so happy that I got the stuff. I was talking about this last week. I'm waffling on again. So anyway, what I worked out was I needed to get 4 pieces out of this 900 wide slab, plus I need 7 pieces that are going to be around 16 millimeters thick, and then I will dress 1 millimeter off each side, running it through the thicknesser. Now that is going to give me 14 millimeters thick, which is the thickness of the domino cutter, the diameter of the domino cutter. So I had to work out 16 plus 2.2 millimeters for the thickness of the saw blade on the track saw. So it was 18. I think I cut 19 millimeters was what I ended up going with, or allowed 19, and that's what I've got left here. And divide that by 7, and I just scraped it, just scraped it. So there you go. That's my reasoning behind it all. Now, one of the other things I need to explain is I've made a massive mistake with the height of these legs. So I'll explain why. The problem was that I measured the height for the mattress. I did not allow for the bed end to go up above the mattress at all, and that's what I wanted. So to alleviate that, the couple that I made on the show last week, I'm not going to use, but I will cut them into blocks and I'll domino them onto the bottom of these legs, and you won't see them because the way that I do it, I'll glue it all up beautifully, sand it, and it's all going to be painted. So I had a bit of a scare. Hearing say what? Good on you, Peter. All right, so I will switch over to the other camera and we'll start. I'll show you how to do a thin rip guide on a table saw. It's really easy, and why. I'll come over to this one here when I can find it. Wrong camera, this one. There we go. Okay, so as I said, I have a whole heap of space down here now. Make sure that you can see everything. You don't need to see my face while I'm talking about this. So I want to have 16 millimeters, 15.5 to 16 millimeters. So I don't want to rip 15 or 16 millimeters on this side between there and the fence. So I'm going to set this mag switch up at an angle. I don't have to have it parallel. If I have it parallel, I'm going to create some issues for myself. I just want this corner here to tell me where I'm going to be. Now, one of the other things I do, use a test piece to start. So I have already set this saw up to be exactly the right, the fence here to give me my offcut. Now the offcut is what I want. I don't want this side, I want the offcut. Now I will put that in, and I'm making sure I'm not going to pinch it at all. I'll turn that mag switch on and that mag switch. Now if you don't have one of these things, that's fine. You don't need it. You can just put a piece of wood across here, a bit of plywood, you've seen me do it before, and a clamp on the table saw out there. Turn this around just a little bit more. Give me a second. Come back a bit further and up. Let me see if that's going to give you a better image of what's happening. Yeah, not bad, not bad. All right, so now I've got this nice and solid. It allows my fence to come down, so I'm still protected. This thickness here was to give me that. That was just my sample. So now what I'll do is I'm going to release the fence, push it back out of the way, and then bring my big piece in that I want. Now this has already been dressed, and I can bring it up to there, bring the fence back to it, and keep coming back until I touch it. Cool, and lock it. That's not going anywhere. So what I'm going to do, every time I finish doing a cut, I'll advance the fence over to touch this. Now I'm doing this in such a way where I've got enough to dress off both sides. Of course, this side is dressed at the moment, and the other side won't be, it'll be rough sawn. And then I'll be starting with a rough sawn piece and that run rough sawn, unless I take it over to the jointer every time, and I'm not going to do that. It's going to be so much easier to run it through a thickness planer. So let me see if this is all going to work or whether it's going to be a problem. I'll bring it back to there, and I'll put some hearing protection on. I don't know why. Derek doesn't need hearing protection. And start her up, and hopefully it's going to be fine. Here we go. Here's my extraction working. I'll check it. It hasn't started for some reason. Give me a sec, turn it off, and then back on. For some reason this Dusty hasn't started. There she goes. Ha! I don't know why. I don't know why. Here we go. So this isn't really acting as a featherboard. It's just for my setting the saw up. I love this saw. I'm not going to cut all of it. I'm pushing it through. And I'll do one more, and I'll show you exactly, just for those people that haven't quite understood what I was doing. I'll shut it down again. I'll move this around, out of the way, wait for it to stop. Put that back up there like so. And now I'll bring this back. Put it up there against that stop again, release the fence, and bring it up to it. And lock it. I'll cut this one again, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Hopefully the Dusty works this time. Yep, there she goes. This way I'm not risking a tiny skinny thing in there and having my fingers too close to it. It's a much better way for cutting thin stuff. Don't you love these little things? That's from MagSwitch. I think I've got links in the video description below. So there we go, that's my thin rip. And I'll pop that there. I'll move this one out of the way because I'm going to do some other stuff now. I'll put this back over there. Come back to the other camera. There we go. Okay. Good morning, Paul. Hello, Miami, USA, Small Project Central. Mark, good morning as well. Okay, so what have we got? 12 minutes in, and just a basic thing about thin rips. Now that I've cut those two, I'm going to do a quick measure, and I'm 15 millimeters. That's fine. That's a very economical way of buying timber. That whole slab cost me $179. Actually, I've got a little power pass as well. I think it cost me $170 by the time I got a little discount. Now that worked out to be a fair bit cheaper than buying select grade. And I think I'm going to get a better result with these. These finger joints are horribly strong. Really, really strong. And the timber kind of works really well. So I'll put these down the end here, ready for thicknessing soon. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. Maybe because I've got the air conditioning on down here as well and using a lot of power. That's a 2200 watt, 2275, I think, watt dust extractor. And maybe it's just not getting enough grunt to kick it, or maybe I've got to have a look at the start capacitor on it. I don't know. All of these things. Dusty was thinking, you haven't used me for a long time, so I forgot what I was supposed to do. Could well be, Peter. Could well. Now the next thing. I'll show you one of these rails. They've come up so well. Like, that's a good length. I got 4 of those, and all of the other parts that I'm going to use for the ends, and it's decent. It hasn't warped around or twisted. I have left it in clamps, whilst I'm doing stuff, I put stuff in clamps, then it's not going to get in the way. Oh, it's not going to move around. All right, next thing to do, next thing. I'll show you what I did in the meantime and some of these other things we're going to do here. I'll bring these over. Now these are the good ones. Remember the ones I made last week? Well, a bit embarrassing. And these ones are also a bit embarrassing because they're too short. So I've made some single blanks. And I've also made the full. Now that's a really nice pattern. I've got to create a cutout here, down there and there. The thickness, which is 33 millimeters deep, and the height that I want. And I'm going to extend these, remember, to make them the right height. Now, for all of you who are wondering what the right height for a mattress is, it's your inner leg. You measure the height to your inner leg without shoes on, and that is the perfect height to make a bed for the top of the mattress to finish at. It's basically when you sit down on a bed and getting out of a bed, you're not lifting up at all. You're right at your pivot point, the bottom of your bum, just where your legs join on. That's the spot. So there's a little tip. Now what I'm going to do here is, here's another one. They all line up perfectly as well. I have already, these ones are going to be the middle ones. I'm going to cut these to shape as well. These ones are the ends. So I've got a left and a right. Okay, so a left and a right. And I've got a full blank on the back. Next thing I'm going to do is go over to here and do exactly what I've done to this one with the router table. We'll just clean all this off and you'll be able to see how nicely it does it. It's absolutely beautiful. Now I've got the top bearing put back on, so it's going to follow around this and cut this. Or the other way around. No, this way. This way. Anyway, let's move a couple of things out of the way down here. Dust extraction on this, I haven't got much happening with it because I'm not really getting a powder, and it's I'm not going to set the fence up because I want to be able to follow this around. I'll come down to this camera. On the other thing you may want to know is what else is happening here. These are getting the checkout. Okay, so this is the leg. It's going to get the checkout in the back for the rest of the bed end to go onto. This is the big beam. And then the big beam isn't the one going to be going into this because it's not carrying any weight. It's the side beams along the side that are going to have the slats going across that are supporting all the weight. I might be jumping ahead of myself a little bit here, but I want to explain it. There'll be a checkout in here, and then remember that I've got these other two here that have nothing happening. I will glue these on when I finish doing the checkout, sorry, on the other side here, and that is going to cover, the checkout's going to be here. This will cover it, and then I'll use the pattern follower again around that. Pretty sexy, hey? So that's how it's going to work. Fingers crossed. Let's go down to this camera. I'll move this back over here now. And you can see this absolutely amazing cutter in action. You probably saw it last week, but just for those that didn't get to see it. Bum's the spot, famous quote for the Greek Aristotle. Well, maybe. Which camera? That one. Come in a little bit closer again. And down. About there. That should focus all right there, I think. All right, again, ears, and I might even go over the eyes with this one as well. that will make a little bit of noise. I've got to find my magic part here. This little guy for the router table. I'll flick these down inside there, out of the way. That'll all get sucked straight in when I open up the blast gate for that. Yeah, it's just a little bit strange why it didn't want to start. That's right. All right, so I'm going to be tracking against here. We'll be cutting all of this off, but the bearing is going to be running against here. So I'll get rid of all that glue. So we're ready, bit of noise, and push block. I want you to have a look at how much that's taking off. This is an amazing cutter. Watch it as it goes around this corner. Not much down this side. Look at that. Doesn't that blow you away? Such a good cutter. Look at that. Now remember that one of the duds that I made the other week I'd gone in a little bit hard with the bandsaw, and I was not going to get this section here, and I really wanted that part to show up. So that's great. Look at that. So now I've got those 3 sections that are blind now, the blind holes, so the domino profile is going to go in there, and then that last bit is going to go over the end after we do the checkout. Now the checkout has got to be here. So I'll set the sled up and put the dado stack in. It's going to be fun. Where are we? Back over to here. Like that. Let me see if that camera is going to work all right. Yes, that is a compression cutter. That is a 7/8 of an inch diameter compression flush trim cutter. And I reached out to Amana Tool because I saw it in their catalog. There's a few tools that they've got in their catalog that I just have made my life so easy, and that is one of them. They've got 3 of that design. And I asked for all 3, and they said, no, Dave, 1. You can have 1. They're expensive, I've got to let you know. But man, it doesn't do a good job. So there was no tearing out at the bottom. It's so crisp and clean. Because that was a spiral down, and at the top here, it's a spiral up. And I've explained that before. Spiral up cuts up towards the actual router. So upside down, if the router's on a router table, spiral up is pushing down towards the router. If I was holding that router in my hand, spiral up is then still going towards the router, but that's why they call it a spiral up, towards the router. Spiral down pushes away from the router, so that's going around the top of whatever you're cutting. So it's a very, very nice bit. Let me see, I've got to have a look at this other camera. And I think that'll be fine. Whoop, not that one. There we go. Back to the table. I'll move this across out of the way and lift this, push that up, move these guys out of the way and pull this out and raise the table up. Let's raise the blade up and take the blade guard off because we don't use that with the dado stack. Put things away so that they're not all in my way while I'm doing things. Take this guy off as well. And away in the drawer. All right, take that blade out. Now, a dado stack is almost like a flywheel. It's just, there's a lot of mass in it and it spins for a long time. So over in Europe, I think that I've been corrected on this before, but I think it's because it won't stop in a certain amount of time. If you've got a saw that stops in a certain amount of time with a stack on it, it's okay. But they don't like you using a stack that doesn't stop. Like this will run for around about 20 seconds after. Now, one of the other things, I think I might try and make this a little bit more interesting. Bring this around this side, maybe even up here and down. That might work. That might be a bit more interesting. Yes. Okay, so down here, that length of the arbor allows me to put the stack on. Now the thing is, don't try and put the stack on all in one go, because there's an area down here which is a catchment area for the sawdust, for the dust extraction, and you won't be able to tilt them all, and you'll start dropping all the blades down inside there and you'll get upset. So one blade at a time is the Dinotopian way, is what Vicky would say to me. Come on. And when you put them on, make sure that the cutting tooth is not pushing against one of the others like that. It's got to go into that spot because all of these teeth have got an offset and you don't want that to jam. Once I've gone to there, these are chippers basically, so there's only 4 of these around the blade on the inside chippers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure they're going this direction. Don't have them arse about because you'll look a little bit silly, like so. And then the last one is basically a saw blade, but it's a flat top. So it's alternates flat top and point, flat top and point. This one has got the point to the left. This one's got the point to the right. This is, I think it's a Torcutter set. The other set that I had, which is the, what's the name of the mob? The Orange Mob over in Italy. They have wings on the top that cut and then leave a little depression in the center. They won't give you a true flat section through the bottom of the dado, which I find to be a little bit silly. But it all depends on whether or not the face, the edge I should say, the edge of the trench is visible. Like if I was to do a dado there, like so, and it was visible, then it would look like a little Batman ears sticking down to the bottom of the dado. But if you're putting a dress mold across the front, it really doesn't matter because you'll end up with a really crisp edge here, where this doesn't give as crisp an edge. Anyway, we'll lower this down out of the way. You can see that there's a fair whack of weight in there. I'll get the sled and my extension. Now, I built this extension on the show years ago. Let's see if you can see that when I do it. Yeah, I'm going to tip that up a touch to there and around to there. Good morning. Sorry, I'm late. Was out with 1-ton cuttle bug. Had to clean the hooves. And you just answered my question. Okay, so clean. Okay, all right. I don't know what all that was about. Anyway, this is my sled, and this guy here I made to support it out the end here. So drop that down. I did this years ago, but it's bloody handy. Look at that. Then we drop this into the slot, into the miter slot, like so. And years ago also, when I got this sled, I explained about the bar that travels inside the miter slot, this bar here. And it's got adjusters in it, and they weren't really strong. The ball bearings, the springs that were pushing the ball bearings out to keep it so it didn't move around, weren't very strong. So I doubled up the springs. So I've only got 3 points of connection instead of 6 underneath here. And it probably doesn't mean anything to you as I'm talking there, but there you go. So 33, I might even just go 32 millimeters deep. So where's my piece of wood? This one will do. I'll put this in there, like so. That's the thickness of what I'm going to be using. I've got another piece of wood down the end here that it's sitting on. And what I'm doing here is just working out the depth of the cut. So I'll wind this up without touching the start button. And I think we're getting real close there. Come around this side. That looks really good to me. I'm going to lock the height at there. Okay. Now the next question is whether or not it's going to be advisable for me to be able to do these in one pass with the dado stack, or whether I've got to do them in a couple. I'm going to try it with one, and I'm going to use this as a sacrificial piece as well. So it would be nice to be able to clamp that on, but I'm not going to quite yet. I need to focus for a second here and work out where I'm going to cut this. And I've worked it out on this one over here. So I think I'm coming up 180 from the bottom of these. That'll be my first part. So 180 is there, and it's 185. So 365 I think will be total. So measure from 100 to there is 185. Cool. Now that might seem a bit strange that that's the part that's going to go. But the mattress is 300 millimeters thick. Now I don't want to have this side covering. So the mattress is going to be in here. So I don't want this to be the edge for me to sit on. I want the mattress to be the edge. So I can come back down here 50 millimeters for the slats. So basically I'll be putting a support of some sort in against this back over here. About 50 millimeters down from the top of the beam. This is the top of the beam, bottom of the beam, side of the bed. 50 mil down, and the slats are going to be 18 mil ply, maybe even a bit thicker, but at the moment I'm thinking 18. So that leaves a lip of that much to stop the mattress sliding off, about 30 mil, which is, 1.25 inches for the mattress to sit on. That way I don't need to dive my hand down the back miles and miles and miles to put the sheet on. I don't know if you can see that. Let me have a look. Possibly. Yep, good. Does all of that make sense, guys? Next thing I need is a square. Good morning, Sean. Good to see you here. How's life in Wales at the moment? It's bloody cold here in New South Wales. All right, so this is the bottom. That's the top. We'll be coming in 33 millimeters. Let me see if I can find my combination square. It'll be around somewhere. Give me a second, guys. Oh, I've got this little square here. This will do it. So this thing will let me know if I go to there. That's 30. But it wants a longer section. I'll just sharpen this. It may or may not work. There we go. So that's about the depth that I'm going to be going in. I'll go just a bit deeper than that. So that's my waist. The mattress, as I say, will be coming from here up to here, 300 millimeters, which is here. So this one will be, the mattress will be pushing up against here. Give it a little space. And this area here will be the relief above the mattress. So basically I'm going to have almost a full circle just sitting above the mattress at the end. So you'll see this and the bed head and it will marry. If the mattress came up to here, it would just look really strange. It's got to be down here. That's why I really do have to do the checkout down there. I've got to check again to make sure that it's all going to work. I don't want to get this wrong. 300 millimeters is there from that point to there. Okay. You'll see all of that above the mattress. If I get a mattress that's 9 inches, well then I'll see that much. But I haven't got the mattress yet. Possibly a bad move, but I think that'll be fine. You'll see all of that. And you'll see this as well, because you'll have bedding and everything on here as well, like the doona and sheets and what have you. It just looks really strange, doesn't it, when you have this all the way down here? Because you're thinking, oh, the mattress should be in here, but it's only just the edge. Cool. Okay, so that's right. I'm happy with that. Now, I'm really, really tempted to do the blue tape trick, and I think I will, because if I get it wrong, I'm going to be so upset. How upset? So upset. All right. So I'm going to do all 4. In one hit. So it'll be like that and like that across the stack. Yep. All right. Tape. And I hope I've got enough tape here. I hope I haven't spoken too soon. Bloody hell, I don't know if I have got enough tape. We'll see. We shall see. I might have some more kicking around, but it's not down here. Make sure I don't have the one that's... I don't need to have much tape. 1. 2. geometry. I hope I'm not going to get myself in trouble here. So that would go onto there, like so. And then this one we'll put here. That one will go onto that. Looking down there, oh, actually I'll put that one on last so I can see that one. This one here. Onto there. And then this one I've got there. So it will be going there. Oh, I hope it's going to work. All right. I'll spin this camera around this way. You might be able to see what I'm doing. Okay. Here we go. Moment of truth. Move those ones out of the way. We're going to do one at a time and push them hard together. Flip him over on the flat, like that, and wait. This is going to be a whole lot easier than actually putting a clamp on the lot. I'm hoping. Now that's worked. I'm not using the zip kicker because it doesn't seem to work for me for whatever reason. Okay, this one. And this one. Move that out of the way, and then this back down here again. That's good. That's the time, 22. We should be okay. We should be fine. That's good. Good. And the last one. It's very important to try and keep everything as accurate as you can while you're going along, so that when you get to this stage you think, no room for a mistake here. Oh, come on, you silly thing, come on. I thought it had grabbed, but it hadn't. The others have. I wanted to stand it up to push down on it. Again, with the belly clamp. Now, when I've got it on the jig, on the sled, I'm going to put a clamp on it as well. But I just want them all to move along at the same rate, so that they're all pretty good. It's only the first 2 cuts that are going to be the real crucial ones. The rest will be fine. That should be good. Yeah. Okay, I think that's good. Now I can let you guys come around this side a bit more to see what's happening. And I might even bring you down lower. Give me a sec. Shorten the legs on this. How's that? Maybe lower again. That looks a bit better. All right. Pretty much work outside year round, but then there's absolutely, yep. All right. Move things like this off, way out of the way. And my saw blade, I will also move there out of the way. I've got the height right. So now I can get my slab of legs over here and back. And that's where that support out here, the extension works perfectly. Spin that around just a bit more. All right, and over. This is the part that I want them to work properly. I've got my mark here, so I can slide that along to the outside. And I've got my board here, and I can move this along now to there and bring the whole lot along to there like that. Now I'm going to put a clamp on here. So it's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so now it's held this way. It's not going, it can't move. I've got that out of the way. I've got everything locked on the fence, so it's not moving at all. And so I can now travel this through and get a pretty good result, I think. Okay, here we go. I've got it all set. I'll get my eye muffs. Okay, g'day John, how are you, buddy? All right, now I don't have the throat guard in there, the throat plate, on purpose. It doesn't need to be there. Because I want as much dust extraction here as possible. So I'm going to slide this through until I see it come out the back here. Ready? Remember, it takes a long time for it to slow down. Go. It's not that dangerous. Famous last words, they say. Too much pressure, too much power being pulled. I'm going to go all the way past, turn her off. Let it stop. It runs for a long, long time. See that? Still spinning. Pull it back. Beautiful. All right. Now I'm going to move it up to the other end. So we've got both ends done. just move it up slowly. I've gone just past on that one. I'm going to come back a little bit. I'm going to come back a little bit more than I need to. The reason being, I can tidy that up with the track saw. So I've come past around about just over 0.5 millimeter. So I'm going to come inside to there, put the clamp on. Making sure it's on the sled and same height there. Now I'm going to get my ruler. Where is it? Down there. It was 185 I was wanting. You know, if it's 185, I should be pretty right. I'm going to come back just a touch. I'll measure the width of these guys. So I've got it exact. They are 185. Look, why make extra work for myself? Yes, exactly right, Skip. Don't really need the throat plate in this situation. I've got one there. The other reason is my throat plate, ordinarily, I don't know if you can see me here, ordinarily the throat plate would be here. If I was using just a miter gauge without a sled, I would put the throat plate in definitely. I'm using the sled because I've got this large section that I'm pushing through and I don't really want to have anything that's an issue happen. You know what, I'm going to put a clamp down the end there as well. Just while I was talking to you then, I thought, you know what, that might be an idea. Now, why am I doing that? Well, I'll explain. If that end, if the blue tape trick and super glue starts to release and opens up a little bit, it's going to make it a little bit different here. So it's not a huge thing, but it's just, I'm going to be far more comfortable doing all the rest of the trenching like this. And I'm going to move this one along just a touch. See that? It had released. About there. It's always a good idea to have as much control when you got blades like this whizzing around. Pull it back and let me see, why was it doing that? I don't know. Anyway, I think we're all going to be good. Start her up again. So we've got both sides. I've got my guy here. Oh, it's moved along a little. I think it's going to be okay. Wait for it. It started up. Okay, going slowly. It's a lot of work that I'm asking this to do. The dust extraction is really good. I'm taking a lot out. Wait, stop again. I'm not in a rush. The Dusty's working better now, Peter. Maybe it'd forgotten how to do everything. Still spinning. Pull it back. Okay, that Bloody hell, that's nice. I like it. Okay, moving it along, and I'm going to move this around as well because I don't want tear out on the top of this. Holding it like so. Back to there. Back a touch. Checking it all. Good. Next cut. Maybe I've got a possum or something stuck in the dust extraction pipe on the vent to the outside of the building. I just feel a whole lot more safer, if that's a word, a whole lot more comfortable using a sled instead of the miter gauge to do this stuff. This is going to be a boring section. You can see what I'm going to do here. So what I might do now is I'll finish this off during the Patreon meeting after the show, because we've only got 5 minutes left. And I'll set up a router cutter and we'll do a little bit of stuff on that section that I cut. We'll set we'll go through the dust, not the dust extractor, through the thickness planer first. So I'll spin this around and you can watch over this side. Got the planer sorted out there. 100% using the sled. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now, where are we? There's my two pieces there. They are 15. Let's release this. Up we come. This gauge is super accurate. I'll go to 15 millimeters neat and shut that off so that one opens. Turn her on. All right, so this is what we've got. Rough saw on there. I'm hoping it's taking a little bit off. We need to take a little bit more off in the thickness there. Because I'm getting roller marks on it. So I'll do that now, just drop it down another 0.5 millimeter, 14.5. Slot that one in. That's better. And the other one at the same time. Oh, beautiful. That is a whole lot nicer. That really nice. This side, see all the rough sawn marks here. We'll run it through and have a look again. Drop it down, take 0.5 mil off. Um, 14, neat, done. There we go. And the other one. These are 33. I've got to take them down to 30. Now there's two ways I can do it. I can either use the thickness planer or else I can use the router table. So I'm going to do it with the thickness planer. They're 33 at the moment, so I'll take them down to 31. I'm going to put them through together so they don't rock around so much. And it kind of holds them steady. See what I mean? Morning, Graham. Pretty cool. I'm not going to take any more off because I want to do it here. That'll turn off in a second. That back out of the way. My rip saw out of the way. All right, take the yellow thing out so I can't turn it on. Come on. There we go. Gotcha. So that's the cutter there. Absolutely beautiful. I'll read off the side, or you might be able to read what it says. Okay, you got the number? Thanks, Graham. Looking well, hey? I'm going to put a 1/4 inch round over the 1/2 inch shank. Spin it around to there, and I can utilize that to hold things steady because I don't have 3 arms. How many times have you thought, if only I had another arm there, another hand? There we go, that's locked in. And I will put a plate on this one. And my adjuster. I've been thinking about taking this out and putting the Triton router back in. It's just one of those things. All right, now, funny thing, not funny ha-ha, but funny curious. I don't think I'm going to need a fence for this. I think I'm going to be okay, and I'm going to just test it right on the end to see how it goes. It's not going to collect much dust, I'll tell you that for nothing. All right, I'll do one of them. See how we go. So I'm just going to do a little bit. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to spin it around and do from the other end across. You'll see what I mean in a second. I think I'll be a little bit safe here as well. That's not the right one, that's the one for the Triton. Look at that. Get the other one out. Where is it? There it is. On a Phillips head. Now this little guy stops the router catching it and flicking it back this way and possibly pulling my hand in there. Again, you all probably know that, but could be someone watching who doesn't. Here we go. One. Two. Spin her around and come through from the other end. I'm going to move that. The reason being, all of my camera gear's in the way. Let's just wait for it to stop. And I want to aim it over that way, not right back towards the camera. Fine. Here we go. Now this might work. You know what? I think it will. There we go. I think that's my domino profile right there. So that'll need a little sand, and I can do all of that. I've got to check that it's the right size. These are the old ones. We'll check it in there. It's still a little wide. So it can't be 30. I've got to take it down a bit more. And you know what? I will. I'll do it right now. That was 31. Let's take it down to 29. Like so. Spin it around. Might be a bit more interesting. I love this look. I love the dust coming through. Before I run it again, I'm going to check. I think I'll take 1 more millimeter off. Down to 28. Graham, how's your machine like this going? You still love it? Graham was going to get a smaller thickness planer, and I talked him out of it into getting something like this. Of course, these don't make anywhere near the noise as the little lunchbox models, and they do a better job. Very, very versatile and saves a lot of space in your workshop. I was very much against an under-over machine before, but now that I've had this one, you wouldn't turn me back. I would not go back to it. So this one, I'll run it through here again, and I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to start just past and then pull it back towards it. See that? It'll get you if you're not careful. And then the other end. It is so important. You've got to have your wits about you all the time. Let's see what we've got. Don't start. I finished. It is so close. It's so close. Look, I don't know if you can see it. I'm nearly there. And I think it's going to be the thickness, but I don't know if you can see it. Come around this side. The big one it'll fit into, I'm pretty sure, like so. So I've just got to reduce the width yet again. I haven't done the big ones on this new leg. It will go in. Yep, it'll fit. All right, I think that's going to be it, guys. I'll take this off and come back over here to this camera. I'm hoping that there was something in there that you may have enjoyed. I don't know if you enjoy watching this kind of stuff. There's not many numbers there at the moment, but yeah, if you can give me a thumbs up. Check the links down the bottom, the video description links. They all keep me alive. I will do a Patreon meeting. Don't forget the glue spacing, of course, because the middle ones, the middle rails, did you see the picture? I'll show the picture at the front. See the middle supports? They're going to have a fancy cut on the end that don't go all the way to the floor. So that's kind of how I want that all to look. So I get these ideas, and it's so much fun to be able to pluck them out of your head and actually make them into a physical item that you can see and that other people enjoy. And so I've got to finish doing that trench with the dado stack, and you can see why I spent that time to use the blue tape method and not have clamps everywhere. I possibly could have put a clamp other places now that I think about it, but the blue tape is just going to stop it sliding around if I moved any of those clamps while I was doing it. And you realize, of course, the live show is live, so I'm nutting things out as I'm going along. You guys get to watch me make mistakes, like I did with the height. I've made it too short. I will have to make those legs longer, and that's easy enough to do. Possibly using the clamps instead of the blue tape, but no, I'm happy I use the blue tape. And mucking around with this dominoes stuff and cutting out of that big slab has been so much, very enjoyable. It was so enjoyable doing that cutting. Anyway, I think that's it from me. Let me have a look down here. Thanks again. Boyles, great show. Thanks. Yes, John, if you want to be at the Patreon meeting, well, I've also put the link back in the Patreon page. So if you're a patron, go back to the Patreon's page. The Zoom link is up near the top. Derek threw it up there for me. Always great to watch. Eric, enjoyed immensely. Now starting to see the concept. Thanks, Paul. Okay, all good. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Look after yourselves, be nice to each other, and I'll roll this video at the end as well, this scrolling stream for the people that are helping me a lot.